All right, next guy up, Drake Maye, North Carolina quarterback, 6'4", 223 pounds, 9 1/8 inch hands, 32 1/4 inch arms, which doesn't really matter all that much. 21 years old. He is going to be turning 22 in August, end of August. He didn't do any of the drills, so I don't have any of those numbers. But in 12 games last year, he completed 63.3% of his passes. Threw for 3,608 yards and 24 touchdowns against 9 interceptions. He had 112 rush attempts for 449 yards and 9 more touchdowns.
So Drake Maye, I feel similar to how it's been with guys like Justin Herbert and CJ Stroud, where he's been a big name for a long time. And there are flashy new toys that come in. And everybody's excited, and everybody talks about them. And these guys kind of move down the board a little bit and ultimately still end up being as productive, if not more productive, than guys that went ahead of them. Watching Drake Maye play football, he, from a size, physicality standpoint, everything
Prototype, man. Prototype.
Everything you want.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he's got the build, he's got the weight. 223 pounds. He'll probably even add more. He's going to be playing at 230. Like, he's going to be built like a Ben Roethlisberger, big, physical, cannon of an arm type of guy. And speaking of his arm, he really does. He has an incredibly strong arm, and he makes it look relatively easy when he's throwing the football. He's a solid athlete. He's a guy that, he's a redshirt sophomore, so this is his 3rd season. He's been playing the past 2 seasons, has a ton of snaps, has like 2,000 some snaps at the quarterback position. So, he's played a lot of football over the past 2 years. If you look at his 2022 numbers, they are even a little bit better than his 2023 numbers, similar to Caleb Williams and some other guys in this class.
They kind of transitioned from an air raid to a more pro-style offense this season.
And they're missing a Josh Downs and some good players that entered the NFL. And they're what was supposed to be their best wide receiver, Tez Walker, he missed most of the season. About halfway through the year, he was allowed back to playing again. And, that's tough when your number one guy misses most of the year, and then you have to try to get a rapport with him again.
And it was a more run style offense too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think their rush attempts went up like 100, 115 or something like that.
Yeah, Hampton's a nice running back that'll be in next year's class, and they ran the ball a lot more. And so he didn't have quite as eye-popping numbers as he did the year before, where he put up 4,300 yards and 38 touchdowns. So, he had legitimate, monster numbers. But the other thing is he's a good runner of the football as well. He's not nearly as fast as a Jaden Daniels or somebody like that. But he is a guy that's going to be able to, similar to a Justin Herbert, he's going to be able to put up 300 to 500 yards. But I think the thing that is a little, it's something that I don't think I thought about a ton until today. When you get in that red zone and you have a guy that's going to be weighing in around 230 pounds, there's a lot of goal line touchdowns or short yardage touchdowns that he's going to be able to get because he's such a big physical guy. So I think he will get more on the ground, not necessarily yardage, but
scored 9 touchdowns last year.
But red zone,
7 the year before, so he's done it.
Red zone stuff, I think he's going to be an absolute monster. So the con on him is honestly watching him, because overall I think he's very sound mechanically, but there would just be random times where you're like, what was that throw? Like what happened there?
So here's what I see and I don't know, agree, don't agree, whatever. I think I'm probably a little bit more negative. He's still my 3rd guy. It's not like he's way down my draft board, so it's not like I don't like him. Some of those things where he was like, what the hell happened? His footwork to me looks a little slow at times, slower. So this was a guy that I almost had to watch in 2 stages.
This is
right?
a guy.
So I watched him directly after Jaden Daniels, and he looked like he was running in sand. Like, he looked that slow to me at first. I was like, this guy is a freaking mess. I don't know how. And then I started watching some other guys. I was like, all right, maybe he's not as bad. So I went back and I was like, okay, he's not that bad. But at times, I think he gets very kind of lackadaisical, would be the way I describe it, with his footwork, and I think it can lead to some bad throws. And combined his sometimes lackadaisical footwork with kind of maybe a little bit of a longer delivery. I feel like he really cocks the ball back at times. Even you can see it when he even when he pump fakes. Some guys do a little quick thing. He's like really cocking the arm all the way back.
Blake Bortles.
Yeah, which
he gets him on that pump fake though. He's got that thing down to a science.
It's just
it's long.
It's another part of the process. You know what I mean? So if you're slow on your footwork, you got this long delivery, it can get you in trouble sometimes. And maybe you don't have your feet underneath you correctly, and maybe that is what caused some of those errant throws. Because I saw it too, and I was trying to figure out like why these inconsistencies were happening.
And it's weird because it doesn't happen all the time. He had 9 interceptions this year, so not a terrible number, not a great number. But as far as turnover-worthy plays, he actually only had 9 on the season, according to PFF. So a couple of those interceptions were, the receiver's fault or something like that. So it's not like they were constantly happening, but there would be 1 or 2 times a game where you'd just be like, I don't know what happened there.
So this was when I go back to like what I said about Bo Nix, who he catches a ball and he could flip his hips and make a quick throw. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'll ever see Drake Maye do that. I just don't think he's got that kind of movement in him, which can get him in trouble. Because I think if he had that, I think his footwork wouldn't look so slow and be so kind of get him into those issues. I'm not seeing it as slow as
you are. Maybe we're seeing it differently. Because for me, I liked his footwork. I thought he processed everything well. It didn't look like his top half and lower half were disjointed typically. And maybe I need to go back and watch it a little closer on his footwork. I didn't see that as much.
Like I said, it was something that was more glaring the first time I watched it and less glaring as I kind of went. So maybe it was a perfect storm of watching a bad game, following Jaden
right after Daniels, who's so fast.
That it kind of stuck with me, and then I was kind of looking for it almost throughout.
Sure, because he is a good
bias, when you're watching film.
For sure, and that's the hard part about this is it's very subjective overall. Yeah. Because he comes from a very athletic family. Like his whole family played like college sports. Like his brothers, his dad, everybody. He was actually a great like high school basketball player as well. So I mean, he's an athletic dude. So, but yeah, I'll go back and watch because maybe there was something I missed there,
and I might just be overly tilting it. You know what I mean to the bad. So I do have more to watch, and I would love to see actually some of his 22 stuff because that's when he was in that era.
He had the best numbers,
and those were his best numbers. So I'm gonna go back and dig in some more, but we have time. The draft's far away at this point.
Yeah, I liked his athleticism. I thought it was weird when he like missed, like he missed low a lot more than he missed like what people like you mentioned like sail balls away or something. Like he'd miss, like he drive the ball into the ground more than he would like sailing the ball away. And he just seems like when I watch him play, it kind of seems like this is a dude who has just natural God-given ability.
It's a dude now.
This is a dude.
We're changing up the narrative.
This is a dude.
He's a bro.
Like, he could play this position well. His weapons this year around him and his low line were kind of like so I don't think they help. But like I was like, man, if he could just get some if he could just take he has all the tools, and for him, I would just love to see him come in and that's what I mentioned doing, like just sit for like a little bit, even if it goes to watch, just for a little bit, like not long, for a little bit, and see the game being played in front of you, not practicing like an actual NFL game right in front of you with coaches in your ear. Hey, this is why this is this and this, and for you to see it that way, because he does have that Justin Herbert ability. He has the chance to be he has the potential to be the best NFL quarterback in this group. Mm-hmm. I like the other guy's fantasy football upside more than Drake Maye, but I really like Maye's longevity here to play in this league, because it looks like this is a guy that
His floor seems really high to me.
Yeah, he seems super safe. Just for being so young.
Just for reference, though, he's not in like the Josh Allen. He's not that kind of.
I don't think he's going to run that.
No,
much.
Right. No, not
think
at
more
all.
Ben Roethlisberger. Like that's who I kind of see him, like young Ben, not old Ben. Young Ben, because old Ben didn't do nothing. But
he got the ball out really fast. What do you mean?
Yeah, but young Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, he would get you 300-400 yards a season. Yeah. But he would do. I mean, at the goal line, nobody was stopping him. But even in the pocket, he was able to hold up and take more hits and more abuse than a Jaden Daniels is going to be able to take in some guys like that.
He's a well-built dude for sure. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure we kind of differdifferentiate.
No. Yeah, I don't think he's getting 800 yards.
Yeah, you talked about the goal line stuff. I think people are going to naturally in their brain kind of connect those dots to a Josh Allen type.
No.
And I just don't think he's that type
think
of
more 300-400 yards per season, but could be a 8, 9, 10 touchdown guy because, hey, we're getting it within 3 yards.
Yeah.
He's taking the ball in.
He can definitely move. Like he's athletic enough. He can move, and his arms, Justin Herbert style. Like I mean, if you're looking to hit somebody like the split 2 defenders and drive it in there on the numbers and hit it there on time, like Maye's the kind of player that can do that. He's one of those people that's just, when you watch him play, like, this kid's a quarterback.
And there's not a throw that he can't make. And I think that's the thing that differentiates him from some of the other guys in here is there is not a throw in the NFL game that he cannot make.
And what's also really important, they had to put this into like your thought process. Not only is there not a throw that he can't make, there's not a throw that he's afraid to make.
There's so many negatives going on here. I can't tell if he's good or not.
But listen, that hurts. You'd be surprised how many prospects or players that hurts because they're afraid to throw that interception or they're afraid to throw that ball in that tight window because
you can't operate like that in the NFL.
Sometimes he's overly confident in it.
Sometimes he is.
But I would rather that.
100%. I will take that one interception for the other 10 completions you make in that scenario.
Especially for fantasy.
That's how you win games. So for me, I love his confidence. I love his natural ability. I love his size. I love everything about it. If my team was drafting a quarterback, I'd feel very comfortable with Drake Maye going on there. And I feel very comfortable with him as my quarterback 3. And that's what I'm saying. I'm real excited about this quarterback class because I have 3 guys that I feel very confident in Dynasty Fantasy Football taking 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. And when you're in Superflex leagues, if you have a 3rd pick, there's not always that guy.
No.
And this year, which pushes now if you have 4, 5, where you get a Marvin Harrison Jr. or a Malik Neighbors at 5, 4, a Brock Bowers at 6.
What will probably happen is, and we see this happen almost every year, is Marvin Harrison is still going to get bumped up. Sometimes he'll go at 2, sometimes he'll go at 3.
Yeah,
he's going to get bumped up. So you're going to get May at 5, 6, 7. I think that's where.
I mean, there was a few years back when it was Justin Herbert was going like 10, 12. Yes. It was insane.
It was insane.
But I think people have caught on.
Yeah,
that it is probably.
But same thing happened with CJ last year.
At 5.
The same thing happened with CJ last year.
Yeah.
He originally was higher end, and then as the process went on, now Bijan's going ahead of him. Now sometimes Jackson Smith and Jigba goes at it. Sometimes Gibbs goes ahead of him. And they just, especially people get fatigued with, especially the not super sexy quarterbacks, which that's kind of the category May falls into. I think in rookie drafts we're going to see him closer to 5 and 6 than we are consistently going at 3. I could be wrong.
I think May is a bigger project than Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels is. I do like Drake Maye, though, quite a bit. And I think I was just running some numbers here. My computer died, so I lost all my notes. But I was running some numbers on the quarterback data I was looking at earlier because Rich mentioned, he may have to sit a year. And I don't think that should be any sort of con or
I'd be fine with it.
A hesitancy.
I'm fine with any quarterback sitting.
The guys that usually sit end up being great, like Jordan Love, Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers.
I actually ran the numbers from 2015 to 2023. All the quarterbacks drafted. There was 102 quarterbacks drafted. Only 4 quarterbacks produced a year 1 top 12 finish. 4. That's crazy. Yeah.
Jaden Daniels about to be 5.
So I'm just saying, don't expect.
He's possible.
Year 1 as in their first year starting, or year 1 as their first year in the league?
First year in the league.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because not all guys start right away. And usually that's the thing. Usually guys go to really bad teams. That's why that's why there's such high picks. That's why Caleb Williams had such a good situation.
And even, a lot of guys will sit even 2 or 3 games at times and, that kind of stuff.
Can you guys guess who they were?
CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm. 2 more. Yep, those are 2.
Lamar Jackson.
How far back are we going?
No, he didn't remember Flacco.
2015.
Oh, that's right. Pat Mahomes.
Kyler Murray.
Pat Mahomes sat his whole year.
Kyler Murray.
Oh, that's right.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got 3 of them, guys. You guys need to pick up.
The other one was not a top. Let me see. It was not a top 3.
What is the parameter we're going for?
15 to now, top 12 season in the rookie year.
Oh, I was gonna say RG3, but
Dak was the 4th.
Dak. Okay.
Wow, Dak's year 1, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, remember him and Zeke as both as rookies that year.
That's it though. So
4.
We may not look at it as like a con or something, but some people might. I'm not going to get production from them year 1, even though you don't really know that when they're drafted. But sometimes you can assume.
But honestly, if you're in a Superflex draft and you have the first, second, third pick, that's another beauty about like you take your quarterback first compared to the running back or the receiver. It's because like for the most part, they're not going to come out and be ball busters year one and score a ton of points, right? So like
I think it's gangbusters. Come out like gangbusters.
Ball busters.
So like because you want to like if you're in that like you're in the rebuild mode, you want the first pick next year, which is gonna be a strong running back class. So now you just got Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and next year you get Travion Henderson, John Jenkins. You know, like stack them up, baby.
Yeah, I do like Drake Maye. I actually agree with Matt a little bit on the footwork thing. Like I only got a chance to watch like 5 games, but we have a ton in the film room. But I thought at times it just kind of got away from him, or he started fading to the side that he wanted to throw the ball to, and just little things like that. But if you put him in like last year's class, like I think he still ranks like maybe even QB1. So
Yeah.
I like Drake Maye a lot.
I think we went 1 overall and had those other quarterbacks last year for sure.
Yeah,
Him and
I
Caleb
agree.
both would have went
Yep.
ahead of him.